Abigail Walker, but my friends and enemies call me Fetch. I've never hurt an innocent person in my life.
Are you ready for me? Here I go! Here I go!
Player 1 wins!
I won't let evil go unchecked!
Bring him down! Hold on!
Okay.
Jump! Do pay attention. Now, let the experiments begin. Show it! 1, 2, strike! Awaken! The Inferno cries out into oblivion! Absolute domination!
I'm sorry, everyone.
Delson Rowe. How many PS4 owners do we have in the hizzy? Nice. Any Xboners? Xbox Oneers? 2 hands. You've got 2 of them apparently.
Old school Xbox, Xbox 360.
Who has PS3?
Woo!
Wow. Yeah. There you go. Well, the future is coming in the next gen ones, but it's kind of hard to own it because there are only a couple games right now.
I know, yeah.
The ones that are out, especially Second Son, look freaking gorgeous though.
Yeah.
1080 is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
We had a great time doing it. We got to do full performance capture.
Yes.
Laura played.
Fetch.
What's your nickname?
That's my nickname.
What's your real name?
Abigail Walker.
And what do you do?
I'm kind of a superhero in my own way. I'm called a conduit.
You have powers, don't you?
I do. I have neon powers, so therefore I can run really fast and shoot lasers through you. Look at me. Travis, however, did not have any superpowers.
Such crap. All I want is powers in my characters. That's all I want. Nothing.
You've got enough characters with superpowers.
Not enough! Never enough! Reggie Rowe, I'm the brother of the lead character. I'm a sheriff. I have a pistol. And I magically shoot people in their stupid faces. Yeah, but it takes place in Seattle. It's a really awesome game. What other performance capture games have we done in the last year?
Performance capture?
Yeah, like mocap games.
Lost Planet 3.
Yep. Knack. Did you play
on
Knack?
the Wii?
1 hand, 2 hands, nice.
No, that wasn't on the Wii. That was on no. It's on the PS4, jeez.
Right. We also play a lot of games. She's more of the RPGer, and I'm more of the shoot people with 2 hands sticking out at the bottom of the screen.
and then make out with them. That's the kind of games I like to play. Yeah. Dr. Wars, Jimmy, Samurai.
What was the name of the guy that I was jealous of in Dragon Age because you were swooning so much?
Alistair.
That son of a bitch. Man.
He's so dreamy. I played it through twice, and I made out with him on both games. But
Not cool, man.
the second time through, I was kind of promiscuous. I made out with everybody.
You're like a hooker. Hooker?
No, I just.
Oh, excuse me, a lady of the night.
I was. Thank you.
She really had a crush on this guy. It was
Really
slightly
did.
alarming.
And then we found out he's with the same agency as us, and I was like, oh my god.
You never told me that. Oh, so you've been having a lot more auditions at the agency, huh?
No.
He must die.
No. Should we open the floor up to questions, or should we keep talking?
Yeah, we can open up the floor to some questions.
What do you think? Well, I have. Look at my eye. Do I have an eyelash in my eye? Seriously?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I feel good.
Are you going blind?
No, it just feels like somebody's poking my eyeball.
Yeah, we'll open up the thing to some questions. Do we want to like run one of these mics out to the middle of the floor kind of a thing, or you just want to pick them out of the audience?
I say we pick him out of the audience.
Do it then. Pick with your mad beanie skills.
Yesterday, I established an amazing method for picking people in the audience, which was hold up something cool. That way I can name the item that you're holding. And it makes it
Lightsaber was
easier.
first.
What? Lightsaber. Right there.
So, my question to both of you would be, when you're doing a line for video games, it's not necessarily a smooth narrative, not necessarily a scene, just sort of something that comes in a vacuum. How do you know how to say it?
How do you know how to say lines in a video game if that particular recording session isn't recorded in a narrative fashion, meaning things are out of order? You trust your director a lot. One of the things I said yesterday is that some games you'll have, like 500 to 2,000 lines, but you won't ever see anybody's lines around yours. Sometimes you just go down the page and just record it, and you really have to trust your director that you're saying them correctly because you don't have the benefit of knowing what's going on around you.
Yeah, sometimes you'll ask to see the line that came right before it, which they have to look for sometimes, because normally it'll just be your character and it's like, just straight down all the lines in the game, and they together mean absolutely nothing. It's just completely random. So you'll be like, that sounds good. How about we did it? And you're like, okay, so what was I saying that sounds good to? So they'll go and look for it, and then it'll give you a little bit of reference.
Yeah. Most video games do not record like that. Most video games are told like a story. You see the script in front of you, and you see everybody's lines around you. And sometimes, like on Infamous, we got to record in the booth together outside of the mocap stage. So that's why I feel like that particular game, the dialogue felt very natural, is because like the phone conversations, we were standing together to record all of those things.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
That helps a lot. A lot of the times, when you don't get the reference or you don't know what's ahead, in the game, if it sounds like someone's talking at one level and then all of a sudden somebody answers at this very different level, that's because they had no idea what was coming before, otherwise they wouldn't have done it. And when we play those as gamers, we're like, oh, God,
Did you tell me they
come
were
on.
boring?
It's not like I'm deaf in my left ear.
There's so many items down.
I'm kind of disappointed there's like no underwear being held out. I'm just saying, people, I have expectations in this world. iPod.
So when it comes to like the two main types of video games, like RPGs and fighting games, like
Everything goes back down when somebody's asking a question. So the people
Save your shoulders.
So when it comes to the two basic types of video game genres, like RPGs and fighting games like BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, which would you say is more difficult to do in terms of one that relies much more on dialogue and one that relies more on like groans and grunts and like more non-verbal things? Like which is more of a challenge to do?
League of Legends is real, you get these, you'll get a line breakdown and all of the sentences are like 5 words or less. So it's like, I am here, death is waiting for you. I am coming to destroy you. You will not survive. So you're just like, this is so bizarre. Because you don't know why you're saying it. Someone's like done something and you're like, I am the baddest. Your face is applesauce. You know, it's like, so you have no context for anything and you literally just go down the line, and it's almost harder for a director because they all sound so much the same that they try and direct you and you're like, you know, death wings are all up in your grill. And you're like, could you say it more mean? Death wings are all up in your grill.
Make it sound less like the applesauce line.
Yeah, right. Because they all kind of sound the same, so they start to run together, and you try to make them a little bit different when you can, but that's a tall order. RPGs are really a lot easier because it's more of a story. There's more, the dialogue tends to be more natural-ish. I mean, in Skyrim, every line you say has like 4 words you've never heard of before. You know, you're like, the Red Guard are going to the Flagaplu.
Unless you play Skyrim and it's all very familiar to you when you go in to record the session.
No.
I agree with him. RPGs, I kind of prefer recording because it's less vocal strain. You know, fighting games, you know when you're going in for a fighting recording session that you're going to come away with like hamburger throat. It just feels like raw in your throat. It's just disgusting. Yeah, raw hamburger throat. That's what I call it.
That's called
It
razor blades.
feels like chunky in your throat because you just scream your guts out.
gross.
I know, it's disgusting. And role-playing games, you know, are more dialogue-based and you get to do more like acting in them and everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
We're actors. Whoa. Look, they're like sensing the end of the answer and everything shoots up. Put it down. We're not done yet. I have something to add to that. Okay, next question.
Didn't you chose the last person?
Yeah, I want the...
No, I'm choosing. It's my turn.
You chose.
You chose Elizabeth.
Oh,
Okay.
you're very nice, Elizabeth.
I choose, whatever that stuffed animal is, the white stuffed animal. Is that a llama? What is that? I know. Oh, wait. Okay, go.
Do you ever feel embarrassed like playing video game you acted and hearing yourself just like while you're playing it with your friends and stuff?
All the time. Yeah.
You feel embarrassed?
Well, I mean, it's not embarrassed, but you're like, oh my god.
Oh, well, certain things, yeah.
Spinning bird, kick!
Alright. But sometimes it feels really awesome, like in Saints Row. I feel super cool when I play that game, because there's no way that I could actually kick through somebody's windshield and knock them out of a car, and then drive over them and then get back out and steal their money. But I can in the game.
That's true.
I don't think you steal money in Saints Row, do you?
Street Fighter is one of the hard ones because you're saying, you know, like somewhat iconic lines like Sonic Boom, and they had you say it once, and that was it. You're like, oh wait, can I do it again? My God, it's kind of an important line, but you know, somebody in battle is going to make that happen. Now you so you're like Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom, Sonic. Oh my God, I sound terrible. And then the worst is the dying at the end because when you win in Street Fighter, the person that's losing is doing that like slow motion flyback thing. They're like, okay, so we need your death excerpt, but it needs to be like 4 seconds long. Like, nobody dies for 4 seconds. So you're usually just like, now we need it for 4 seconds. So like, so like if there was video of that, that would be priceless. You see everybody going, those are always fun. Death by fire or death by electrocution is always fun to hear in the game. Because you just sound like a madman. Like a fool.
Fire blows your voice out. Electrocution, everybody's got their own method for being electrocuted. See, that's what most people, they lock their hands together and they go, Although most games now, like if you're dying in like Last of Us by being electrocuted, they don't want to hear, they want to hear like,
horrible. Yeah, they're like, it's just awful. They're like,
less comical, more painful sort of sound, yeah. And Kodacha, whenever she had a little thing that would vibrate her hands, so I always held on to my throat and went,
nice. Did you ever do it
But
too
that
hard?
hurts your throat out for a while. It's better to do that.
I think it's a little sensitive. You might not.
Yeah, I know, right? What a dumb.
You live and learn.
Oh,
No. Easy.
Oh, I asked the last one.
Next question.
stick of doom right here.
Okay, so I've kind of gotten even split on asking this to other actors that performance capture is a real pain in the ass, and in your own opinions, is that the case, and are the advantages worth it?
No, it's totally worth it.
Capture.
Yeah, there's two types of animation in games where they're trying for realism. There's either performance capture, where they capture all the data on the person, whether it's the body or the facial movements
or everything at once,
all three,
including your voice.
They do hand key animation, which means that they're literally one frame at a time having to move the person through the scene. And it always looks a little bit more stilted, it always looks a little less natural, and it just doesn't have that realism that performance capture gives. So with the technology that they have now, we're really getting to see really nuanced, really subtle, very impactful performances, and it's letting actors really go for it in video games in a way that some of the actors aren't even used to. You get people that haven't done performance capture before, and they're like, oh, this is just kind of big and vague in general, and a lot of the times the people that have done it before are like, no, treat it like film, like really go for it in the scene, don't hold back, because it'll get everything.
You can't treat it too much like film, because some people come over from film, and on camera, there's a really subtle way of acting that's like all through your eyes. So a lot of actors look, when you're just staring at them and you don't see them on film, they look like they're almost dead in the face, like they're doing nothing. But when you get it on camera, it's like their eyes are so alive, it's these emotional, amazing performances. But on motion capture, performance capture, you don't capture the eyes, so the face has to be doing something a little bit more. So it's an in-between between film acting and theater acting. And when you're on the stage, most things aren't there. It's you're imagining everything around you, so you have to have kind of that grand imagination.
Shared imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing they're doing for facial capture now, if you can think about, if you've ever seen a picture of the muscles in the human face, they try to either put a black dot or a small BB-sized reflective marker on certain parts of your face, and then sometimes those dots or BBs can number 89 all over your face, and they're trying to get every little muscle or tendon that would cause your face to move or create an expression. So when then that moves, that part of the face moves digitally as well. So every tiny little smirk or a blink or when you raise your eyebrow or whatever, that's what they're trying to capture too. It's not just that like face that's talking and doing this, and then maybe the eyebrows go up or whatever. They catch like every little thing. So
it's a really long process when they're figuring out where all those dots go, because it's just hours of them telling you, okay, raise your eyebrows, lower your eyebrows, raise your eyebrows, lower your eyebrows. Okay,
one
now
eyebrow.
Bring the side of your mouth up, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down, and they have to find where every muscle moves so they can find your marker placement as opposed to his marker placement. It's crazy.
It's cool. You look like Hellraiser coming out of it. I don't know.
Next question. Do I get to pick again because you're looking at
Yeah, do it.
I like the blue visor thingy. Yeah.
Do you ever catch yourself when playing the video games you previously started in? Do you ever catch yourself like trying to do the line better while playing?
Yes. Good question. Yeah, totally. Like, we do takes, right? So sometimes it's one take wonder, or maybe you'll do 2, or maybe you'll do 12, right? And sometimes you'll have loved what you did on the 3rd or the 6th or the 7th take, but they want something different, and you try and copy it, but it doesn't happen quite right. So whatever happens in the game or ends up in the game, it might not be your favorite take, and you're like, ah, no! And then you're silently in there like repeating everything you say, doing it better, you know? You'll hear Laura upstairs going, are you talking to yourself? Maybe. Yeah, it happens. We judge ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
Look at all these people tweeting us.
Right now, really?
Jess Lambert. What's up? Kevin Gomez. This is good. Derek Franklin. Well, these are the most meekest like yell outs. I want to hear someone go like bonkers. Jay. Yeah. Dara Yee. Woo! Molly. Thanks for making my crotch vibrate. Inappropriate. Yeah, sorry.
Does it ever get weird that you guys seem to keep getting cast in so many roles where you kind of hate or try and kill each other so much?
That's so weird. Why does that happen?
It's a battle royale at our house every night. Like when I come home, she's like in the living room with like a big sai and a katana. I come in and grab the bow staff. We throw down. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's really strange. I don't understand why we're always like enemies in things that we do.
Yeah, why are you always making out with Troy Baker? It's so great. It's so great. Can I tell the story? Can I tell the story? So on Infamous, Second Son, right? We're all doing performance capture, so we've got the stupid suits covered in reflective balls.
Spandex, terrible, unflattering.
This big helmet cage. It's like a helmet with these huge, large metal arms with 4 cameras on them that are sticking in your face. So when you have to kiss or make out with someone, you obviously, if the cameras are sticking out this far in your face, you're like.
The first time you film it, you have to pretend that you're kissing them instead of actually, so they can get all the body capture. So you're like. And then they take your helmet off, they take the antlers off, and you actually have to like.
And the best part was that it was Troy and Laura, who were like brother and sister, obviously, because Troy's one of my best friends, and they were so uncomfortable about it. So I would run.
And Travis is on set that day.
I would run on stage and jump out from behind the curtain and go. Troy would be like, stop! If you get all intimate, jump back out and go. Maybe some other things, but we wanted.
Yeah.
The box that you're holding up, it's red. Yep, you.
Is video games, do you have the match flaps like an anime, or is it easy? No, you don't have to do that. If you do the match flaps, you know, like change the animation to match your flaps?
Not normally, because there's a finite budget for making something that's already been made in Japan over
that's
into America.
specific to Japanese games, obviously. But.
Sometimes we will match flaps for animated cinematics if it's a Japanese property, but a lot of the times what they do is they'll record the exact amount of time that a line goes. So you'll see like 9 words in a sentence, and they're like, that's 3.7 seconds. And so the first time you read it, like, that was 4.1. You're like, you do it again, they're like, nah, it's 3.5. We need 3.7. You're like, mother.
They'll literally say you were 0.2 seconds too long, so can you just 0.2 seconds faster? Okay.
Or you can stretch it. You digitally stretch it.
Yeah, but like in Final Fantasy, some of that was recorded to picture, and in some of like the Persona cutscenes, we'll do that to picture as well.
Otherwise, we don't usually get to see anything like our Fire Emblem characters. We had no idea what they looked like when we recorded them. I had no idea.
No. I had an idea because I had to do timing to one of the cutscenes when she like zooms in and then goes.
Ain't you fancy? They keep me in the dark. Like, don't show him. We showed Laura. Next question. Oh, this is really good.
The star backpack, star bag, and the sword. You have 2 items. You win.
Okay, so Laura doesn't feel left out.
Thank you.
What was it like to work on Resident Evil 6?
It was really great. Just loved it. I love killing dead people. See, they totally thought it was you.
They totally did. Just close your eyes. It sounds just like me. It was cool. It was crazy. I sort of touched on it yesterday with Resident Evil 6. I didn't do the motion capture. Somebody else did the full body capture. But then I went in afterwards and did the facial capture in addition to the voice work for it. So that was interesting because what you have to do is match your facial expression and your facial movement with whatever they did in the scene. So if she bends down and looks up and then goes like that, I have to, while I'm doing it, move my head as she did when she bent over and then look up at the same time. But you only have like this much space to move your head in so the cameras can capture it. And at the same time you're doing that, you're watching the monitor with her movements, and then you also have to look at the monitor for your line. It was a crazy complicated
It's very hard.
Frankenstein recording.
I mean, yeah, it was Frankenstein recording for sure, but I feel like that was some of the most crazy scenes I've had to do, like the scenes when her sister got dragged away and everything. It was a really intense recording process. I really loved it.
Next question. Yes, right here.
What was your favorite voice acting story? Like something that happened that was kind of fun.
Favorite story from the booth?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
You don't know.
Where's Donut Boy when you need him?
Donut Boy?
Aaron.
Vic.
Who's Donut Boy?
Aaron, he shoved. Oh no, it was Vic that shoved over.
Why is Vic called Donut Boy?
The donut story.
The donuts?
Let's go to YouTube and look up Vic Donut Story.
Oh, okay. It was like all the donuts got soggy or something. I think I was in the room once when he told that story.
Oh, okay.
It sounds really gross.
Wow, that could be
It
really
was when he
cool.
was recording Full Metal.
Or the Aaron story falling in the booth.
Where's Donut Boy when you need him? Who, Vic? What?
Whoa.
You guys have Dunkin' Donuts here, don't you?
Somewhere.
Oh,
God.
I'm so jealous.
Next question. With the little... Oh, I picked last time, didn't I?
You were gonna pick the spinning hat, weren't you?
No.
Oh, well, I choose the spinning hat.
Air high five me. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Right. I actually really like the Sonic Boom designs. I know a lot of people are like, no, heresy, it looks terrible. Well, I don't feel the same way. I kind of like that Knuckles is like this big, beefy jock dude that never does leg day in the gym. Which is kind of awesome. The character has also changed dramatically. He's extremely funny now.
He's extremely funny because I voice him.
There you go. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's kind of a sporty look, and everything has to evolve and go through, evolutions and change as it goes along. And I think people are really going to like it once they see it. All people have to go on right now is the character art, and so I know they're like, no, my eyes burn. But when you see it in motion, it's pretty freaking sweet. Just gonna say, and not just because I'm in it. No, not really. But seriously. Yes, right here, what's you can do?
My question is actually technically like a two-part question.
Oh my God.
It's basically the same concept. What's it like to do a video game when you originally did the anime, or you're part of the anime and you're first getting introduced to your character in the video game? And also, what's it like for the Persona games where it's originally a video game, but then it was turned into an anime?
Right. Yeah. It's.
She asked, in case you couldn't hear, she asked, what's it like going from a game that's turned into a video game, or an anime that's turned into a video game, and vice versa? What's it like going from a video game turned into an anime?
Full Metal Alchemist. We actually recorded the very first video game before we ever did the series. So it can be a little wacky because you're setting up the voice of a character that's going to be in a lot of episodes to come for the first time. So it's kind of the same process that you have when recording a show. You have to establish a voice print, or establish what the character is going to sound like. Like for me, the first line I had as Mustang was in the game, and I'm walking into somewhere where Edward's fighting, and the line was, "Looks like you could use a hand, Full Metal." And I was really, really excited to be in the first video game I had ever done, and so it came out, "Looks like you could use a hand, Full Metal." And Chris Sabat was directing. He's like, no. How about that suck, take 2? So, like, bring it down. So we had to establish what he sounded like. And then for, the Persona games.
Persona games were actually kind of crazy because we recorded so much of the games, and then we went to do the anime, and it was kind of going back to the beginning with our characters, so I had to, relive a lot of the same moments that we'd already touched in the game. Was that the way it was, or did we... Did I just make up that answer completely?
Nobody cares. Yeah! I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it was right. We did, yeah, so.
White bag with the stringy on it. I don't know if it's a bag, I'm just guessing.
It's got Totoro on it.
Oh, a white Totoro bag.
So in the anime, sometimes we get a blooper reel that is in addition to some of the content. But video games don't always get that. So what are some mistakes that you've made that you just think, oh, I can't believe I did that?
That happens so much.
That's a lot. The first 4 years of our anime careers are that entirely.
Yeah, but in video games, do you have any oh gosh, we record so many lines that they just take out.
Sometimes you'll record, you'll do a line, and you're like, in your head, you're like, oh, that's crap. But before you can say anything, they're like, okay, moving on. And you're like, no, okay.
I kind of have a bad habit of, I cuss a lot in the booth without meaning to. I really do. So a lot of times, like I have a certain chain of words that I always say, and I can't say it.
Wait, raise your hand if you're under 18. Oh, this room is fine.
No,
Come on.
it isn't. No, it isn't. No, because there should be cameras, and that's
That's true. That's true. No, we can't. We're actors. It's our job. If we, yeah.
But I don't even mean to say these things, and it comes out, and so it's always shocking to like, I was doing like voice matching for Tinkerbell.
At Disney.
After a while, I actually trained myself to not do it, but I did end up saying, "Oh, jingles."
In the middle of Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of faces are just like.
I'm sorry.
Wow, that's creative. Nice alliteration there.
Yeah.
Next question. The Flying Nightwing T-shirt. Now everybody's gonna start throwing shit. Everybody's gonna get in the head.
Oh, we've only got a few minutes left. This is the last question.
Oh, wow, really?
The shirt is the last question.
Can we have a conversation where you play Colonel Mustang and you play Les?
A conversation where I'm Mustang and she's Les?
Yep.
You're pretty hot.
I know.
So, do you want to go on a date later tonight, or?
How much money you got?
Got like a $5.
Yeah, all right.
Tell you what, if this date doesn't work out, I can show you my snapping skills. Or not.
Come on, baby. Light my fire.
There you go. Say yes to this date or I'll kill you again.